City Commission meeting for Thursday, September 21st at 6 p.m. in Commission Chambers. First, we will have the invocation by Dr. Richard Aubrey from Milligan University. If you'll stand for that and remain standing for the pledge.
Good evening, everyone, Mayor and Vice Mayor and Commissioners, City Manager, and all of you. It's great to be here on behalf of Milligan. As a proud resident of Johnson City, let's bow and pray together. God, we give you thanks for all the blessings you've given us. We thank you for connecting us to one another, for the opportunities that we have to love and serve one another, and to make each other's lives better. My prayer is for this meeting tonight that those will be our goals, that we might love and serve one another, that we might demonstrate attitudes that please you, and that your love and grace might be central in our hearts and minds. We thank you for all the good gifts you give us. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Ball.
Good evening, Commissioners. The first order of business under the consideration of the minutes is to consider approval of the minutes for the regularly scheduled City Commission meeting held on Thursday, September 7th, 2023.
So moved.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Laus?
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter?
Yes.
Commissioner Wise?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Mayor Fowler?
Yes. Do you want me to say anything about the public?
We
comment?
had no individual sign up for public comment.
All right, so I will not open the public comment. We will go on. Ms. Ball.
Okay. Mayor, the next order of business is a proclamation. If you want to head down that way, it's a presentation of recognizing the month of September as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in the city of Johnson City.
One, two. Whereas suicide is one of the most disruptive and tragic events a family and a community can experience, with more than 1,100 lives lost in Tennessee each year and an estimated 25 attempted suicides for each suicide death. And whereas suicide is the 11th leading cause of all deaths in Tennessee, the third leading cause of death among youth and young adults aged 10 to 24, as well as the second leading cause of death of adults aged 35 to 44, and the sixth leading cause of death for adults aged 45 to 87. And whereas more than 3 lives a day are lost to suicide in Tennessee, which means 21 Tennesseans are lost each week and 97 per month. And whereas Tennessee veterans, active duty military, and National Guardsmen face a disproportionate risk as compared to the general population, with more dying from suicide than combat. And whereas public awareness of this tragic program is the key to preventing further suffering and loss of life, and the risk for human self-destruction can be reduced through awareness, education, and treatment, as the highest risk for suicide is among survivors of those who died by suicide or those who have attempted suicide. And whereas Tennessee is a national leader in the effort to prevent suicide, being one of the first states to develop a suicide prevention evaluation plan covering the lifespan, and whereas suicide prevention has been declared a state priority by the governor, and the Tennessee legislature has declared teen suicide prevention as a state priority in partnership with the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network to implement the Tennessee strategy for suicide prevention. And whereas the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network is a grassroots collaboration of Tennesseans and organizations working to eliminate the stigma of suicide, educate the community about the warning signs of suicide, and ultimately reduce the rate of suicide in our state. Whereas every member of the community should understand that throughout life's struggles, we all need occasional reminders that we are all silently fighting our own battles. And whereas we encourage all Tennesseans to take the time to inquire as to the well-being of their family and friends, to genuinely convey their appreciation for their existence by any gesture they deem appropriate, and to remember that a simple phone call, message, handshake, or hug can go a long way towards helping someone realize that suicide is not the answer. Now therefore, I, Todd Fowler, Mayor of the City of Johnson City, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim September 2023 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in Johnson City, Tennessee, and do urge all citizens to work to prevent suicide and to raise awareness and tolerance around all people affected by this tragedy. Thank you. If you'd like to introduce yourself and talk about this for a minute.
Okay. My name is Heather Lee Sifford, and I am the regional chair for the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network for our area. I would just like to thank you all for all of your support over all the years. Thank you, commissioners, for your support. This is such an important matter, and so we really appreciate this. All of these proclamations that we receive will go to Nashville next week for our statewide event, so thank you.
Thank you for the work you do.
Commissioners, your next order of business is to consider the consent agenda. Sorry, Mayor.
That's okay. I can start on my right.
I'd like to
Commissioner
pull
Wise.
6.1.1.
6.1.1. Vice Mayor,
No, sir.
Commissioner Brock.
Yes, sir. 6.1.2.
And?
No, sir.
Nothing else. All right, we'll start with 6.1.1.
6.1.1, consider approval of a resolution to name a street located in Clearwater Springs Subdivision. I think we have Will Ryder here to speak about this one.
Yes, sir. Back in good evening, Mayor Fowler, Vice Mayor Murphy, Commissioners, Mrs. Ball. Back in 2014, 2015, there was a policy passed by the Board of Commissioners to, that Board of Commissioners had to approve all structures, public infrastructure that were to be named. In this case, it's a street dedication for a plat, the Clearwater Springs Subdivision, and they want to request that the street name be Clearwater Lane.
Okay, so my question is, I don't know that the commission was involved in naming Novus Drive. And so I was just curious what the criteria for naming is. And so you've talked about a policy from 2014, did I understand? My understanding had always been that the planning commission was sort of the end of the line for the street naming process, because when I was on the planning commission, we named the road into the VA Gold Star Way, and then Novus appeared kind of out of nowhere. And so I was just curious, what is that process?
It's essentially the same. The planning commission has subdivision authority. They accept streets. Streets become rights of way when they're public right of way, when they accept them through a final plat. We're all familiar with that process. And then it came to my attention that there was this policy that required the Board of Commissioners to officially recognize street names, so that the street is actually dedicated as public right-of-way now when the plat was approved. But with this policy, the street names are supposed to come before the Board of Commissioners for
Okay.
official approval.
I see.
So we just missed Novus.
So this is the first time I've been in on naming a street in almost 7 years, so.
No, and
We've
that's,
been
I'm
doing
just
it
wanting to
wrong.
understand the process, because
Yeah.
it does seem, so at this point, did planning speak to this at all? I mean, they spoke to it in the subdivision plan, but they haven't considered the name.
I mean, 911 has approved the name.
Yes, sir.
The road is built because it's been final platted. Now there's still some bonding for the sidewalks where
So it's a
developer
street with
posted
no
bond.
name.
No.
I mean,
It's,
it's just, that's almost
it has
lyrical.
the name, it has the
Sorry.
name on the plat. Now, speaking with previous development coordinators, previous planners, it's my understanding that they had a policy of bringing a list of street names once a year or so before the commission and have them approved. Whether that happened or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it hasn't happened since
But-
2016, I know
But
that.
but it seems that if there is an issue with the name, that it's best to catch it once the plat's been approved. Now, there was an item for Cardinal Forest Phase 3, same situation a few months ago that was on the consent agenda, and we actually had it named just prior, or brought it to the city commission prior to the planning commission meeting where it was officially approved.
So, Mr. Ryder, so like the Keebler property, when they build however many roads go into that, all of those will come before us?
My understanding of the policy and what I've been briefed on, the direction that we need to proceed with this is that all street names need to be approved. So every time we have a plat, then you would have an item like this on the agenda.
But if 911's approved it, I mean,
Well, 911's approving, like, they don't want 5 Woodland something, they're trying to get distinct names because they don't want to send police cars to the wrong end of town to differentiate between Hillside Road and
So
Hillside
it's more
Drive.
like when fire says, yes, this is okay, water says, so we are the final
It
say.
sounds like it.
Think-
So
At least now we are.
The policy just simply states that the Board of Commissioners has to approve all street
Well, I
names.
think
Thank you.
Clearwater Lane is appropriate, so
Yeah.
that's.
I think there's kind of two categories of streets that I can see. And one would be subdivision related, and we can drive back in some subdivisions and every child of the developers, has a street named after them. But then they're like Novus Drive, which is a public street that is really a city street, but we didn't have anything to do with that, and I think we wish at that point in time maybe we had have.
Yeah, so please quit calling me about it. I had nothing to do with it.
So 911 doesn't want two Novus, a
Yeah.
Novus East and a
Right.
Novus West. Right?
Right.
Anything
A
else?
Windsor Court, a Windsor Lane, those are the sorts of things that.
Yeah,
Thank you, Will.
appreciate
Yes,
it. 6.1.2.
Yes, this item, I think, is for our Director Witherspoon. I think he's coming forward to address any
Very
questions you
quickly.
have.
I'll answer I'll ask the question then. I know this is just engineering and design at this point in time.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't know when all this is going to be happening, and there may be a presence out there as they're doing surveying and all that kind of stuff. And the people in the area are probably going to be very inquisitive about what's going on. So just kind of give a real high-level update
Okay.
about what's happening, when it's going to happen, and it's still, it's not the tunnel, it's the water sewer lines.
Well, right. This dovetails in with the article that, or the story that Mr. Trivett commented on. There's different phases of infrastructure improvements that are going on out there. Obviously, anywhere the city touches a road, there's a potential that a water line may be affected or a sewer line may be affected. And so that's what this is addressing over a portion of that plan view. The surveying and everything that our consultant will be doing is strictly for the water sewer. They're the consultant for a good portion of the road improvements and the bridge improvements. There's a decision we got to kind of make about whether we get on the bridge or whether we stay where we're at out there. But that's the context of this.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay,
And,
thanks.
and Mayor, if I may make a comment about item 6.3.1, if that's okay? This is a contract, and we have a major carrier here with the police department, the one that's called Data Driven LLC. This is to purchase, and yes, please come up in case there's questions. This is to purchase the software that was recommended in the Daigle audit that was complete in order for us to make sure that all of the software within the police department, including what patrol uses, what we use in evidence, as well as what we use in our criminal investigation division, all matches and is all within the same system.
That's
So
correct.
that it's easier for us to be able to pull records. And I
Yes.
don't know if you have anything else to add, but I just wanted to point out that this was an item that was, that we were doing and moving forward on to be able to comply with the recommendations of the Daigle audit.
That's correct, yes, ma'am. Good evening then. I didn't know if anybody had any questions. I'll be glad to elaborate just a little bit further. on this, but as Ms. Ball said, this is something that came out of the Daigle report. Actually, it was the first item that came out of the Daigle report, was that the system that we're currently using, RMS, was somewhat antiquated. He was able to get the information that he needed to conduct his investigation, but he had to take some, he deemed some unnecessary steps to pull all of it together. So we're just trying to streamline this, make it more expedient to where we can access information faster. And so this is going to go a long way towards doing what we need to do to accommodate Mr. Daigle's request.
Will this be a system then that as officers are out in the field and they have input out there, it immediately gets
Yes,
captured in
ma'am.
the
We
system?
currently use the Watson system, but what it's going to be now, so if we want to go in and we want to archive something or pull something out of the system, we now have that one system that we can get into versus before we had a Watson system along with an RMS system that we had to try to mesh the two. This is going to integrate that all together, so it will be much more expedient for us to pull information out now.
How long does it take to do this conversion?
He, on the contract, is that he has promised he can have it delivered within 4 months, which meets our guideline of, by the end of January of 2024.
Wow.
And does that include training?
That for whoever needs to do it, yes, ma'am, we will make sure that that's accommodated then.
So it helps the police department and the citizens of Johnson City have
That's
that
correct.
information more at your fingertips.
Yes, sir, because if we get into an open records request of some kind, then we'll be able to pull that information much faster than what we could in the past. Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you.
Anything? I have a
Second.
motion to approve and a second from Commissioner Hunter. First. Any other discussion?
Oh, I thought you don't need a second.
We had.
I thought you had one. No more discussion.
Who moved?
John Hunter.
Okay,
I
thank you.
second.
They're having a meeting down there without us.
Any further discussion? All right. Ms. Laus?
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter?
Yes.
Commissioner Wise?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Mayor Fowler?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The next order of business is item 7.1, which is a second reading of an ordinance. It's ordinance number 4863-23. This is the public hearing. It's for the abandonment of a portion of the public right-of-way known as James Keebler Lane. And I think Mr. Ryder is going to speak to that one as well.
Good evening again. This is second reading for this. There's been no change since the first reading. All phase development developers of the Keebler property have requested a portion to abandon this portion of the James Keebler Lane property. It formerly served as a driveway for a house that's to be demolished. Upon closure of the right-of-way, it'll be combined into the Keebler development. The only, there are overhead utilities which will be abandoned upon closure. Planning Commission recommended approval of abandoning this portion of the right-of-way.
Thank you. And this is a public hearing, so I need to, I will open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this, please come forward. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion in 2 seconds. Whoever you'd like to, Ms. Laus. Any discussion? All right, Ms. Laus.
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter?
Yes.
Commissioner Wise?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Mayor Fowler?
Yes.
I would like, under the city managers, I would just like to take the opportunity to introduce the new Public Works Director. I don't know, Jason, if you mind coming up. Jason Miles is our new Public Works Director. This is his second week on the job, and I'll let you tell the commission a little bit about yourself, but I think this is the first time you've been before the commission.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Ball. My name is Jason Miles. I went to school in Virginia Tech, and so this is a great opportunity for me to get back to this region of the country, so to speak. I've been wanting to do that for 30 years or so, but, you know, life takes you where it takes you, right? So I'm just very humbled to have this opportunity. It's such a beautiful place to live, and the welcoming that I've received from staff and citizens has been incredible. And I just, again, thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to serving you all best of my ability.
Well, we get to ask questions now.
Of course.
So what do you think about Johnson City?
I love it. I know the first impression I had when I came here for my in-person interview, the initial one was what a clean, vibrant place it is. it just has such a great vibe, you know, and so I was excited about that, and then meeting the staff, you know, was icing on the cake. So I was very hopeful, of course, that I would land the position, and it's just I'm really excited to get my family out here. I do have some great news, actually. Just before this meeting, I found out that my offer on the house was accepted today, so.
So you
yeah,
bought
so-
that one house. You were really lucky.
I think this was the fourth offer I made on a house, so
Wow.
it's still you know, a very difficult market, I guess. Well, not for sellers, obviously, so, anyway, very happy to have that behind me. Really tired of the house owning process, so.
Well,
yeah.
congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you
happy
very
to have
much.
you here, so
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, Jason.
Anything else? All right, I will start to my left. Commissioner Hunter.
Nothing to add.
Yes, I would just like to compliment, I tell you what, folks, since we went to the 2 middle schools last year, to watch the esprit de corps and the pride develop in these 2 middle schools through their sports programs has just been wonderful. So I want to have a shout out. I think Commissioner Hunter will join me in that for the girls' sports at Indian Trail and Liberty Bell. To watch them play has been awesome. We've had, in that conference too, we've had Providence Academy playing. They have really, really good girls' teams. So it's very inclusive, and it's great to see these young girls playing the way they are. So these are great feeder pools for Science Hill, you know, when it comes up. So I think in the next few years, we're just going to have unbeatable teams.
That's
Yeah.
great. Vice Mayor? No, sir. I will mention Science Hill's girls team again. Volleyball team is playing tonight against Westridge, and they're undefeated, and this is the last conference game, so it'll be an undefeated conference record if they win tonight. So if you get a chance to go watch them at Science Hill tonight, take advantage. Science Hill Westridge tonight at like 6:30, I
Starting
think, or
6
7.
minutes.
Yeah.
I'm heading there now.
Somewhere coming up. All right. Anything else? If nothing else, I will adjourn.
Thank you.
Short meeting.